4,000 delegates, and the Republicans had like 3. But so the people who were there and what we saw on the floor, I mean, that's one thing. But what was the perception of the TV audience? Because that's what they were trying to influence. They weren't trying to influence the people who were there.
Yeah.
They were trying to influence the people who were watching. Did the Democrats? Did it look good? I thought
so
Trump had a
good.
better stage.
No,
I thought
I
the screen and
disagree.
the stage were prettier.
I disagree. I think the Democrats just nailed it up and down in terms of the optics of that convention. It was aesthetically pleasing. It was well organized. The celebrities were famouser,
Right.
better. You know
What, Scott Bio doesn't make it for you?
you know, and Hillary did us all a service by not showing up until the last night, unlike Trump, who could not stay the fuck away from the camera.
Right.
And, you know, and then she, after all of that, those speeches, the Obamas, you know, Joe Biden shouting malarkey, which was a peak moment. And then at the end, here she comes. She just came floating out of the sky in her white suit like our saving angel with her wide lapels. And we were ready. We were all soft and ready for her. And her speech, I thought, was extremely powerful. I mean, you know, you could see the rise in her confidence over that speech. You know, she started out rough and a little wooden, and by the end, she was just eating it up. And I think that the and in contrast, the Republican convention was just like a slapdash, weird-ass reality show. And anger.
With a lot of Trumps.
Yeah, and it was all spittle and brimstone, you know? I mean, it was just...
Well,
And then Trump said that he thought his speech was optimistic. Jesus Christ!
Oh, my God.
Hate to see him on a dark day.
Yeah, right?
And ultimately, I don't want to say I disagree with you, Erika.
You can.
Well, no, because I don't think Hillary's speech was bad by any means. I think she did a really good job, but following Bill Clinton and following Obama, it's like.
Well, all she had to do was ride.
Biden, it's like going on after Springsteen and they turn your mic off.
It's ridiculous. She's not that animal. She is not that animal, and we need to get over that.
And I thought she had a great line in her speech about that when it comes to public service, she's always been much better at the service than the public.
She put it all out there. She was honest about it. You know, if the voting public isn't getting the message that this is a woman who is good one-on-one, good with policy, good at the job, but sucks at the sale, then
that's why they were saying ride Obama's coattail. He gave you that. Just ride what he said.
He's also going to support her on the road too, and that's going to be very important. Because remember, Gore didn't want Clinton helping him, and it worked for George H.W. When Ronald Reagan helped him.
Right.
So I think that's important.
I really believe they're going to miss that guy. They're going to miss Obama.
Who's they? Who's they?
I mean,
Us?
Yes, the world.
I miss him already.
I'm telling you, they're going to
killing me.
Oh, I mean, just the charisma, the guy when he comes out and speaks, and he sits there and talks. He has a conversation. With you, and he set her up pretty. I said, he's going to send you out if you can't ride this wave and win, then you're an idiot. You just get.
But she did ride it. I think.
Oh
she
yeah,
was
she rode it.
successful.
No, I think
that's what I'm saying. He sets you up. I mean, come on in, jump on it, and you got Biden. It just kept building.
Yeah.
And hey, all she had to do was just.
Just
it's like be a headliner
and not be a
she was the icing on the cake.
Yeah, she was
definitely
great.
the icing on the cake. And they talk, because Trump was selling you all the fear, and Obama broke all that down. Mm-hmm. What this fear mongering and telling you, only I. He said, no, this is democracy, idiot.
This is us.
Yeah,
this is us. It's a big we.
And he told him, don't boo, vote. Don't boo.
And I
was a
also
great
love
line.
this message coming from Bernie and others. This is democracy. This isn't our job to do for you. Get out there, run for office, vote the down ticket. That is a strong message that, I know that my kids need to hear and the rest of young America needs to hear. And it's one of the big, anybody read the hilarious Dan Savage response to a writer about Jill Stein being the Green Party.
Well, there was the response that he published this week because I guess
an older conversation.
Right, it was something that they had been talking about on the podcast, and one of his callers asked, well, why aren't you supporting the Green Party and Jill Stein? And he basically said, because I don't want Trump to be president.
Yes, yeah. And because, the Green Party, and I would certainly vote for an independent candidate or the Green Party candidate, except that what are they doing? Where have they been? What have they done? They're not running for other offices.
As my sister
They have
said,
a few, but not
that Bernie
the same.
should have started his plan 2 years ago.
Yes, he should have.
If he was going to win this,
Yep.
he should have started 2 years ago.
It's a long game.
Yeah, you can't just jump in and say, you got momentum, but dude, you can't take this.
He wasn't even a Democrat 2 years ago.
No,
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's true.
And that's one thing that for me is a big problem that I don't want to just bitch about the hardcore burners, but so many of them after November 8th are going to disappear from the scene.
Yeah.
And, what Dan Savage was saying about the Green Party and what I think the hardcore burners need to do is stay active. Like presidential elections are every 4 years. America is 24/7.
Also, they need to take the approach that they have been successful, that, Hillary, they have moved Hillary dramatically to the left. I mean, a lot of that platform and the things she was talking about are ideas that came from Bernie Sanders. Mm-hmm. She's accommodating that.
Right.
That is a success by any measure.
And she said she's going to keep him around to work on getting free college education for everybody.
Well, when college was free, we were not as a big a country. Having the bucks that we have now.
Yeah.
We had less, and we had free college. Berkeley was free in the 60s.
Yeah.
You only had to pay for your books.
Yeah.
Now it's one of the most expensive schools to ever go to. You need to ask yourself, why did that change? What was it in that made it work? And then why did you have to change it? Why are certain classes that were offered in high schools and things are not offered anymore? I mean, they don't even have gym. A lot of the things that motivated us where we are, I'm 52, so where we are today, if a kid decided, hey, man, I want to go to school now, he can, or he could have learned a trade, or he could have done something. But now you got people walking around in a circle. They don't know jack.
Yeah.
They don't, the kids are roaming around. That's no wonder they're going to jail, because there's nothing to do. There's no motivation to do anything. The parents aren't even motivated. Everybody just wants to be, the hip-hop mom or the hip-hop dad, and they want to walk around and buy shiny stuff. You're just making us consumers. That's it.
Yeah.
It should be more guidance to
Well,
if
that's
you
what,
want them.
I mean, if we're really going to talk about education, I mean, that's what we have been taught to do by our culture, I mean, the school system was founded by the big industrialists of the early 20th century. They turned the one-room schoolhouse, local schoolhouse, into industrial schooling. And, I mean, it's a whole other conversation. But, of course, people don't know how to think for themselves. Of course, people don't understand how the political system works.
Right.
Of course, people feel helpless. We've been given no tools to think for ourselves, to take action. There is no model of public service immediately available.
Well, but I think also, and Trump is such a great example of this problem, and I think we saw it this week when I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the gentleman's name, Captain Khan's father, the immigrant whose son lost his life fighting for America. And he during his speech, he offered his copy of the Constitution to Donald Trump. He said, "You should read this."
Yeah.
And I think
it was a great moment.
It was.
And you know what? Actually, well, I'll, since I'm kind of making this point, I'll ask that question in a minute of you, Will. But it seems like such an old gripe now because it's like from when reality shows were just starting. But when I was a kid, people wanted to be famous for doing stuff.
Yeah.
Now they just want to be famous
For being.
Just exactly.
Yeah.
And you get someone like Donald Trump, who, you know, you can say the man has probably never like actually worked a day in his life. You know, when he said this week that he wanted to hit some of the speakers from the Democratic convention so hard their heads would spin, my brain immediately translated that into, I will hire someone who can hit them that hard.
Yes.
You know, but the man did, and granted, you know, with a little $1 million help from his dad, but he did build a real estate empire.
Yeah.
But
By
Bloomberg
lying and cheating and stealing.
Yes, absolutely.
And not paying his subcontractors.
Right, and calculated
yeah.
bankruptcies so he could
Yes.
screw other people and make all the money for himself.
Yeah.
But Bloomberg exposed everything. That's the one
Yeah.
thing about it. It took another businessman to go up there and say, you know what, I'm not even running. I'm an independent.
Absolutely, and
But I'm gonna let you know.
I come here not to praise Trump, but to bury him.
But Bloomberg had the best single reason to vote for Hillary, because she's not insane.
Yes.
That's what he said. She's not
Right.
insane.
She's not
You've
insane.
got to vote for Hillary. And I think that should be a bumper sticker.
That would, yeah. That, you know, I think if anything, that's going to be the one that turns the hardcore burners
but
around.
Isn't the fact that he committed treason this week enough of a reason to not vote for him, or even to have him disqualified?
Well, see, but that's the thing that frightens me is because for a lot of finger quotes implied here, values voters who, like even liberals, are looking at going, really, you're supporting Trump and you still call yourself a values voter? But everything that Trump isn't, that surprises us that these people are supporting him, Mike Pence is. So if Trump were to drop out or be disqualified, and, you know, I mean, are there rules for succession before an election? You know, I mean,
So you're saying that Mike Pence would take his place, even if
That would
he
be
had
my
as
guess.
a candidate?
Yeah.
Is that right?
well,
Because he would never win.
Well, I don't know. I think like Mike Pence's value to the Republican ticket is to make the ticket more palatable
To those
to the values people that
Bible
ultimately
voters.
can't.
Yeah.
Well, he'd have been
You know.
better off than Kasich would have been a better deal for
Oh,
that.
Kasich, yeah, you know, and I'm no fan of John Kasich, the man who voted to defund Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
But as far as the whole tableau of Republicans that were running this year, Kasich was like the most sane, the most rational, the most reality based.
Right.
Yeah.
And even for a liberal like me, he was the most palatable.
Yeah.
Right.
It was just the wrong year for him. He was the guy who brought a thesaurus into the ring at WrestleMania.
Well, we are running low on time. A couple things, though, that, Will, you had asked about the optics on television. One thing that I noticed, I don't know if anyone else picked up on this, but it seemed to me like there, and I don't know if it was just the Bernie Bros or if it was just the general vibe at the Democratic convention, but it felt like, and watching speeches on TV, there was a lot more noise in the stadium at the Democratic convention during speakers, and even, you know, when it wasn't like discernible protest shouts during the what do you call it, the convocation at the end of the religious speakers at the end of the night. You know, I was raised Jewish. I don't necessarily consider myself a man of faith, but I was raised to be respectful. You know, when people are talking, and it's like, you know, even if they aren't praying to my belief system,
Yeah.
you shut up and let them pray. You know, and do their thing. damn the separation of church and state.
Well,
Let them pray. You know,
when Obama came out, it took him a while to shut up. He tried to. I mean, just getting them to be quiet. It took a while to do that. I mean, and then they finally, and then they, as they started getting in, they started quieting down. I mean, they were talking through a lot of the different folks' speeches and everything. And I don't know what happened with